everybody, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me here on this awesome Wednesday for some embroidery. I appreciate everyone taking time to join us live or watching us on replay. Today's National Towel Day, if you didn't know, and we have some great bundles for you as well today. I know that I'm sure that if you are part of Embroidery Online or OESD Facebook group or email list, you've got lots of notes and messages about it, and the same here for us as well. So lots of information. I thought I would pop in here and walk you through embroidering on a tea towel. And I also have some things to give you for you to make embroidering and placing towels, napkins, and other things easier. So let's get started. The first thing about a tea towel. Now we're talking tea towels, not bath towels. So 100% cotton towels, not really nap unless it's a waffle weave, but plain, good old-fashioned tea towels is what I'm focusing on today. The first thing that I can suggest to you is that you wash it. Okay? The washing of the towel is important, especially if you don't know if the towel is going to shrink, and you want to get all that pre-shrinkage out before you wash or before you do your embroidery. That way, once it is embroidered and washed, it doesn't end up in a crumpled ball, and then you're not happy with it. So toss them in the washing machine. Now the OESD towels that I am going to show you here in a little bit, OESD says you don't need to pre-shrink or pre-wash your towels. They've done a lot of testing and a lot of things to make sure that you've got a towel that isn't going to shrink massively. And it doesn't. It's really good. It doesn't require a ton of ironing either. But if you're just better safe than sorry, and if you've planned ahead and have time to wash and dry it, I would go ahead and wash and dry it. Now, the next thing to think about is thread. I highly recommend using your Isacord thread to embroider on a towel. Anytime you are embroidering, or think about the end use of our project. This towel is probably going to be washed, and it will probably be dried multiple times. So you want to use a thread that's going to withstand all that washing and drying, and that's going to be Isacord, a polyester thread that is color fast and bleach safe. So if you embroider on a white towel and then throw it in the washing machine with some bleach because maybe you had to mop up spaghetti sauce, that your embroidery is going to come out of the washing machine the same color that it went in, minus the spaghetti sauce, of course. So just here as an example, what you see on the right is polyester and rayon thread. You have two different colors there, stitched on a towel. That towel was washed and bleached, and you can see that the rayon thread is no longer the thread color that it originally was. Okay, so you just want to make sure that you don't end up ruining all the embroidery and the time that you just spent stitching out your towel. Okay, so let me just go over real fast here, show you, explain to you some of the bundles that we have today. We are posting links to everything in the chat box. You can also find it in the description of this video or reference back to one of our social media posts, and you'll find the link there as well. We have two different towel bundles. Okay, the first, they are identical in terms of stabilizer. What changes is the color of the towels and the designs that come with it. Okay, so towel bundle 1 has white towels and a bundle of designs that are all recipe towels. The two stabilizers that I like to use when I am embroidering a cotton tea towel is going to be StabilStick, TearAway, and Ultra Clean and Tear. And so both bundles are going to have that. The bundle 2 is going to have black towels and another design collection that features a couple of a conversion towel that kind of tells you cups equals this. There is some punny kitchen, some other little designs that also work well for kitchen towels. It's a huge savings on these towels, okay, today at this bundle being $59.99. So here's what bundle 1 has with us. Okay, so these are the 6 designs, but there are actually 6 collections, so there's way more than this. And then collection 2 has drink recipes, the conversion, some punny, kitschy kitchen items as well. So, and all that information is also laid out in the links that take you to the particular product. Now, as a reminder, if you buy both bundles, you will actually get a free embroiderable apron from OESD. Great apron, great quality apron, adjustable neck strap, it's long, perfect for you to be able to embellish, add pockets to, add ruffles, add whatever you want, add embroidery for you today as well. All right, so let's take a look at some towels. All right, so again, like I said, we are working with plain cotton dish towels today. This is the OESD white towel, and then there is an OESD black towel, and somewhere a birdie has tweeted in my ear that there may be some other colors of OESD towels coming soon. But it doesn't have to always be a black or white towel. We do carry other towels in different colors, okay? Towels also, you can easily add borders to your towels. You can add pom-poms and rickrack and all sorts of things to dress up your towels. This towel here came with a pre-stitched orange and white decoration on the bottom of it. This towel is the perfect example of how to use a towel that has a pattern like this polka dot. We actually stitched the recipe onto a piece of white fabric and then satin stitched it after it was done to the towel. Because otherwise, if we'd embroidered directly on this towel, you would have never been able to read it amongst all the polka dots. So this will allow you to also use your printed towels, plaids, stripes, things along that lines. This design here, this is actually done on toweling. We carry a variety of toweling here in the store beyond the pre-made towels, but toweling comes by the yard, typically anywhere between 16 to 18 inches in width. We have a variety of colors. What's great about the toweling is that 2 sides are already hemmed. So you can buy the length that you want for your dish towel. You can even make an apron with this toweling as well. You buy the length, cut it to what you need, hem it, and then turn it into your own custom length or custom size towel. So this towel here was toweling that we started out with. We cut 3/4 of a yard and then hemmed at the top and the bottom 1/2 inch twice. Okay, so we folded up a 1/2 inch twice, and then we did our embroidery for our project. These 2 towels here are actually Kimberbell towels that we have. Kimberbell has the towels that are, we have dots and stripes, and then there are 2 sets of ombre towels. This set is the ombre orange and teal towel set. So it actually goes from white down to the color. You can embroider on either end of it. There's also a pink and lime green one that is currently out of stock, but we have some orange. But I thought these were perfect towels for our hot peppers, and this kind of looks vintage with our kitschy kitchen design that's on that. Okay, so let's take a look at how we place a design on a towel and how we get it to actually go there. Okay, first thing that you want to look at is on the back of your towel. Let me get all of these out of the way here. I'm going to grab this one. Look on the back of your towel and see if there's a tag and if there's a towel loop. Some of the towels have towel loops in them. Towel loops are designed so that you can hang this up on the wall and this would hang down to dry. So I always make sure that I embroider opposite end of the towel loop, because if I hang this up on the wall, if I embroidered it up there, it would be hanging upside down. So pay attention to the location of towel loops. Okay. Tags don't matter. You can cut the tags out, but towel loops do. Now, with placement of a design, we typically on a towel are not going to place a design dead middle of the towel. We're going to be placing the design towards the middle of the towel on the lower half of that towel. So when you get your towel, okay, you would fold your towel in half, iron it in half, okay, and then I'm going to iron it in half this way as well to find middle of the towel. Then I would open it up and I would fold up the end of the towel that I'm going to embroider on to the middle crease. Okay, it's hard to see there because it's black, I know, sorry. But I'm going to fold it to the middle. This is going to give me the midpoint on the lower half of the towel. So now if I was going to embroider on this end of the towel, I have my exact location of center. Okay. Now, that's where, you know, we embroidered these towels, dead center. Okay. We have this towel here is not embroidered in the center. It's actually embroidered in one corner. So with this particular towel, what you do is you could fold it so that you find your quarter points, and then you could fold in one more direction and find the midpoint of this quadrant. I know, I'm throwing a lot of math at you, okay? But I've got some things to help you, okay, that we're going to talk about. All right. We also have bottom borders. So this collection comes from the new Charming Borders collection that we stitched along the bottom border as well. So they don't have to stay dead center in the middle. Okay. A couple of things. One, we're going to use a sticky stabilizer. I'm going to stick my stabilizer to the hoop, okay? Or I'll put it in the hoop and I'm going to stick my towel to the stabilizer. I'm not going to worry about trying to get that towel into the hoop, okay? I'm going to use OESD's StabilStick TearAway. I prefer to use TearAways on my towels and not wash away. I want some of that stabilizer to stay behind to help my towel stay nice and flat and taut after washing. Over repeated washings, the stabilizer will disintegrate, okay, for you as well. Now, once we cut a piece of stabilizer that fits our hoop, the next thing is to score the stabilizer so that you can peel the paper off. So I've loaded this in the hoop, paper side of the stabilizer up. So just again, we're using OESD StabilStick, okay. We're going to score the paper. Now, I have my new little OESD Tool Kit here, and some people came to me when we looked at it and they're like, Amy, what's this tool? What is this for? We've never used this. This is your scoring tool. This is the tool that we use to score your paper stabilizer. Okay. You can also use your loop and tail wand. Okay. I'm very cautious. I don't want to cut a hole in your stabilizer. So and then you can use the end. You can also use the end of a pin. You can use the end of a seam ripper. You just don't want to push so hard that you put a hole in this. Okay? Then we peel the paper off. That's going to expose the sticky. And then you're like, well, Amy, I don't know how am I going to get this lined up with the center of this. I can't see anything, there's no markings or anything, okay? That's where crosshairs come in handy. So let me show you here. We're going to put a link in the comment and as well in the drop box here, and I'll show you in a little bit exactly where to find it if you misplaced the link. You have and will be able to download a series of placement lines, okay? Some of you are probably very familiar with the Kimberbell crosshairs, okay, that we use dead center of the hoop to get things lined up for center placement. I've actually created a couple of other crosshairs. We've got a corner placement crosshair and a diagonal crosshair placement for putting like napkin designs on point in the corner and things along that line. So I will show you that. So if I open up the center crosshair placement and we were to run this in the hoop, we would have this. It's going to stitch this crosshair exactly what it is. Doesn't matter what thread color you do it in, you're never going to see it on your actual product. But this crosshair is there so that we can use this to mark our placement. So if I were going to embroider on the lower half of a dish towel here, I would take my folded lines and I'm going to line them up here in the quadrant of the towel. Okay, so it lined up here and here. We're going to unfold so that that lines up there, and then we unfold, and that will put you center crosshairs of your towel into the center of the hoop. Then all you do is open up your design and embroider, and you would be center. Okay. Now, today I'm going to actually use the corner crosshair because we're going to embroider in the corner of our towel for us. So we're going to go over to the machine over here. Okay. I've opened up on the machine, I've opened up the corner crosshair, and we're going to stitch it, if I can get a hold of everything. I've got my thread twisted here. I'm going to stitch it directly into the stabilizer. It's just going to stitch me that corner line. Okay. So we're going to take that off. It's hard to see, I know, but right there is my corner placement. So that's where the corner of my towel is going to go. So here's my towel loop. I don't want to embroider there. I actually want to embroider in the opposite corner. And I would take this and I'm going to put this here. I'm going to line up my hemmed edge with that line. Just like that. Now, this is the corner where the label is at, so I'm going to fold that label kind of back and out of the way so I don't embroider through it. So I am lined up with my placement line. It tells me exactly where I'm going to go. Now, the other question is, well, Amy, you didn't fold and find your quadrant. Where are you going to embroider? What's going to go there? How do you know that you're going to get it where you want it? I use something called template sheets. Okay, this is the design we're going to stitch. So this is a piece called a StabilStick template sheet. It's basically StabilStick TearAway that I put through the printer. So I opened my design, I printed it, and now I can peel it off and I can say, you know what, I think I want it to be there. And that's going to be where I put this. You can audition it. You know, maybe you want it higher. Fold your towel the way that you plan to fold it. This is also, using these is an excellent way to make sure that the design fits where you want it to fit and things along that line. So you can peel it up and reposition it as I did that. Okay. Get that off in a minute. I'm going to get this lined up here. All right. Then we will take this over to the machine. Oh, thank you. And we will make sure center matches center. Okay, so let's come on over to the machine. And we're going to go find center. So here's the center, what the machine thinks is center. And I'm going to move this up and over until my center of the design matches the center of my placement. Okay? Now, once you have that, we can, everything matches. For those that have pinpoint placement, you can even go as far as making sure that you've got this straight, but we had this crosshair here align so that we didn't have to really pinpoint it. We just needed to make sure center was where we wanted it to be. Get that little bit off the towel right there. Oh, I'll deal with it later. And then we're going to embroider. Okay. All right. I'm going to hit the go button. And the machine's going to stitch. It's going to stitch it in the corner for us. And while that goes, we will come back over here. Now, if you find that you have a fairly dense design, and I'm going to go ahead and do it now because I want to make sure that everything works the way that I want. I'm going to float a piece of stabilizer. So I'm going to float a piece of Ultra Clean and Tear because the lettering and stuff on this particular design is satin stitch. The handle is a little dense, so I want just a little bit extra help at making sure that my towel doesn't wrinkle. Okay, so I'm going to float. All I did was slide a piece of TearAway underneath the hoop. Okay, not all designs are going to need it. Like, for example, the design using the these guys don't need TearAway. Okay, underneath of it, they just need the StabilStick, and that was it. It's a loose weave design. This design, a little denser. That bottle, a lot of stitching in that bottle. Okay, this is from Vicki York, her collection. We used the StabilStick TearAway to hold our towel, and then we floated a piece underneath, and there are no puckers or wrinkles in that towel. Okay, do I have questions for you? I'll gladly answer anything anybody wants to know here. Now again, you know, you can use the same technique for embroidering on like bath towels. The only thing you're going to need with a bath towel that's different is because of the nap in the towel, you are going to need a topper. And so those toppers they look like saran wrap. Let me get it out here. Looks like this. So we would take a topper, we'd cut a piece that fit our hoop, we'd lay it on top of our hoop, and then we'd use some tape to tape it in place, because this is gonna want to draw up as it's stitched into the machine. Okay. And then you embroider, and then when we're done, whether you use the Stitch 2.0 product, which washes away, or the Heat to Go product, which irons away, you would remove that top item. Now, the question is, I see, if I was giving it as a gift, would I use wash away? No, not necessarily. If you want to cover up your backing, let's say you want to make sure that everything gets hidden, okay? You can use a product called Gentle Touch. This is Gentle Touch. This goes on after you've embroidered, after you've done your washing, and if you're not planning to wash, you could do it before, but I typically do it after. And you're gonna cut a piece. Give me 1 second. The last thing I did on this machine was stitch edge to edge quilting, and I didn't reset my settings. Let me fix my design. So with this, I would cut a piece large enough to cover my design. I round the corners. Typically, it works better if you round the corners to make sure that it doesn't peel up. And then you iron it down. This is going to seal all your designs, your stitching, all your threads, things along that lines into it, so that, you know, if they're washing, it doesn't get caught on things, their fingernails, their fingers don't get caught in them. You don't have to spend a lot of time cutting all those jump stitches that may be hanging out back there. So that this is also the same product that we use when I embroider on the back of children's garments. You know, kids have a tendency to think that things are scratchy and itchy, and then if they don't like it, they won't wear it. So this is what I put on the back side of embroidery on kids' garments, kids' things, but I also use it on the back side of stuff that's going to be used that maybe I don't want accidentally getting, you know, anything caught in the stitching and causing anything to unravel as well. So that's the product I would use. You can use wash away stabilizer. I don't like it on a tea towel. The tea towel's it's not thick. It's different if you're talking like bath towel. You could use wash away. There's a little more density to the bath towel to help keep this from wanting to shrink, but over time, even with wash away, when you completely wash all this out, you do take a chance of getting some wrinkling in the design. Okay. And so that's why I don't use wash away on the kitchen towels. You can also use a product called Ultra Clean and Tear Plus. You could also use your basting boxes. So if I was using Ultra Clean and Tear Plus, it's not quite as sticky as StabilStick. I would definitely be using a basting box before. So let me show you here on the machine. So here's my corner design. I'm going to take it, I'm going to bring it down in my hoop, kind of put it down lower. Nothing says the design has to stay where it comes in. I'm going to move it to the lower corner. I'm going to add a design to this. So let's just go here. We'll do this one. So here's my design. I'm going to go and move it and position it where I want it to kind of fall in that corner. Okay. And this would be my design. Take it over here. Let's put a hoop on the machine. So after I stitch my placement line, I'd come in and I would add a basting box. That basting box is going to help make sure that the towel stays stuck to your stabilizer, okay? So that it doesn't come up or anything or fall out of the hoop or get crooked on you. I would use a basting box. Now the way that the Bernina basting box works on current machines, the first time you touch the basting box, it's gonna put a box around the design. So it's going to create a box that just fits the size of the design and put it around it. The second time you touch the basting box function, it's going to put a basting box all the way around the perimeter of the hoop. Your choice which one you want to use. I usually just put the one around my design because I want to make sure that as close the towel and fibers as closer to the design are actually more stable if they're kind of held. Ultra Clean and Tear Plus, it's sticky and it will wash away with a couple of washings. It will come right off and dissipate in the back. So that is another option for towels. It's up to you which one that you choose to use for that project. Let's see, do I have other? And honestly, if you don't have time to wash something before you give it as a gift, trim it down as close as you can. Give it as a gift. They're probably going to wash it before they use it the first time. And they won't ever know that it was there and then it wasn't there anymore. Okay, so you want to be good. Yeah, the basting boxes for those that do tile scenes, definitely basting boxes to help hold down your background fabric and to stabilize it to help minimize the shrinkage that happens as the design pulls in. If you touch this basting box option a third time, it turns it off. Okay. Do note that if you are following a thread chart, that when you activate a basting box, it is going to add a color stop to your design. So therefore, it's going to shift everything one number. Okay, makes sense? Just so you can see what it looks like, what's going on there. All right. Now, those placement lines that I showed you can be used for anything. It doesn't need to be just for a towel. We used this last weekend in the Kimberbell Red, White, and Barbecue event. We used the crosshairs to align an apron. We used the crosshairs to align the pot holder that pot mitt, oven mitt that we embroidered. So it's almost become it has, for me, become a staple in my embroidery. It lives on my machine. I've saved the design to my machine. It is there for me to use. So if you want to know how to save it to your machine, this being for current line machines, we're going to open up the design. Okay. Open your design. If you don't have a machine like the screen that I have on, now the simulator that I'm using is the Bernina 790. This is the same screen that you will find in an 880, any of my 7 series that embroiders, any of my 5 series that embroiders. It's the same screen, same steps. You open the design that you want to save. In the upper right hand corner, you're going to touch the folder. In the folder option, you want to choose the third icon down, which is put this design into my favorites. Okay, so we're going to touch that. Once you have done that, the next screen that comes up is asking you, where do you want to save it? Do you want to save it to the USB stick, or do you want to save it to the machine? Because this design is currently on the USB, that's where it defaults to. I want it to actually go to the machine. And so you can, you can touch machine here, and then you'll see the design showing up here. We'll just hit the green check mark. And now the design is saved. It closes up after you hit the green check mark. If you don't believe it, if I go out, here I am back at my main screen. I touch my folder with the heart. That is your personal folder, okay? And you can touch the heart. And there's the crosshair, okay? Okay. So, all right, the question is, let me pull up a web page here. 1 second. I will show you where to go if you missed the link. All right. You are, let me get out of that here. You're going to go to the main website. So materialgirlsquilt.com. You will click on the Fun Stuff tab. And down here at Fun Stuff, the very last option there is Awesome Wednesday Embroidery. If you click that, Embroidery on Tea Towels, you click the pink words that say Placement Crosshairs, and the system will download you a zipped file. And in that zipped file will be the center, corner, and diagonal. Now, I've only saved them, in the EXP format, okay? Because that's the format that all our Berninas read. So you're gonna get the EXP format in the 3 different things. If you don't have EXP or don't have you need to find software that will open and convert or resave the design in a format that your machine can read, okay? At this time, I'm not planning to save them as every brand of machine out there. We are tried and true Bernina lovers here at the quilt store at Material Girls, and that's the brand that we sell here. So right now, they're only going to be in the format that my Berninas read, which is .exp. So this way you can just unzip it and immediately move it to your machine. You don't need to do any additional conversion for it. Okay. Questions? 1 second. The machine is stitching out here. Okay. Let's go back over. You can see what it looks like. I saw a question asking if I can show the back of the towel. Yes, I will show the back of the towel to you. Okay. And you will, 1 second. Let me see if I have one that I didn't tear off. I may have tore it off. Okay. So here is there's the back of my bourbon towel. So I could get a little bit more out of there, but I'm really not concerned with picking it because I know once I wash this, it will go away. It's the back of this one. There's the Ultra Clean and Tear that I can pull off. If I wash this, pretty much this first layer Ultra Clean and Tear is going to go away. Okay, in the first washing. There's the back of that towel. I could get in here. I'm not concerned. The dishes don't care if I go to use it. Trying to look and see what's on the back, some of them. What's holding it from keeping it sliding is that stitching. So when I started, here, let me stop the machine here. So let me cut this thread. So when I slid this underneath and it started stitching up here at the top, that's what's holding this from not going anywhere, okay? It's already stitched. So there's what my float looks like. Now, I floated a piece that completely covered the back of my hoop. I'm not floating a little tiny rectangle. I can pretty much see where I want it. If you had a smaller piece, you could put a little 505. You could put it on here and tape it down if you wanted to make sure it didn't move on you. But for the most part, the moment I started stitching, that is going to be holding it in there, and it's not going to move on me. Okay? So I don't typically, when I float, I don't typically tape it in, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, template sheets that we used here, template sheets also come in handy for placing anything, not just towels. I use template sheets if I am embroidering on a shirt. I'm going to use a template sheet to make sure that the placement works correctly for me. Okay, especially if you're going to put something on the front left chest. You know, everybody's front left chest is in a different place. And, you know, all depending on if we have a chest or no chest or how big the chest is. So for me, I will, and especially if I'm embroidering it for somebody else, I will have them put on the shirt if I have access to them. I will have them put on the shirt, and then I will use my StabilStick template sheet to place it where it looks best for them. Okay? That way I don't end up embroidering following, you know, commercial standards of 4 inches down, centered between the underarm and the front center. This way the embroidery doesn't end up in their armpit or up all the way up on their shoulder. So I'll use a template sheet. And what's nice is you stick it there and it stays there so that you have the ability, you don't have to deal with pins sticking into something. You don't have to worry about all of that in that world. Okay. All right. Well, so we have a few more minutes here. I will let the machine still running. So since y'all are here, I want to ask a few questions. A couple of things. We are planning on kind of making Awesome Wednesday embroidery a regular thing. Maybe not every week regular thing, but we are looking for, do you like this? Is this something you want me to make a regular thing? Focusing on embroidery projects, embroidery technique. We would love to have you give us suggestions, topics that you would love to do, things like that. So it's not going to start probably till the fall, but just an opinion. Now, the question came up, how do I get the design on the template sheet? I use a program, there's a free program called ArtLink. Okay, so ArtLink, I open my ArtLink. ArtLink comes from Bernina. I'm going to navigate and open up this design on my USB stick. Okay. I'm going to open it. There it is. We come up to File and we do Print. Load the template sheet into your printer appropriately so that it prints not on the shiny side of the template sheet. Okay? We want to make sure it prints on the paper side, and then I print it out from the printer, my regular printer, and then I cut it out. Okay? So this is what There's my sheet. I ran it through a laser printer. I would probably do inkjet, just to be safe, to make sure that the heat from a laser doesn't overactivate the sticky. But I mean, it worked fine, but it is very sticky, as you saw when I stuck it on the towel. And then I just roughly cut it around. Okay. ArtLink is a free software that you can download from Bernina. Gina just put the link up there for you. It allows you to open embroidery designs, do some very basic editing, like making it bigger, smaller, rotating. I typically use ArtLink just to print my templates. Yes, unfortunately, at the moment, I'm going to tease you with awe. Yes, Miss Becky. I have to, we need to get a plan, a timeline, and start stitching so that I can have samples and all sorts of things to show you. I know, I do a lot of teasing. If you've been to the online store, there's a big giant tease up there now for you. I'm full of it. I don't mean to do it, I promise. We need to generate a plan of what we're going to do and what we're going to teach so that I can prepare and prep. I just heard my machine stop. I have a project that I have been wanting to do for a gajillion years, okay? And I think that I may turn that project into the one of the programs that we do here in AWE. Because, you know, we're all in awe of embroidery. And yes, so we just got in new pillow covers. So OESD just recently released new pillow covers. So we had the linen-y color. We now have black, red, rust, teal. I think there's a gray. And there may be some matching towel colors coming as well. Okay, so I think I saw red, I saw blue, that type of thing. So yes, I just happened upon them today. Want to learn how to use free arm embroidery. I can do that. That's not hard. Oh, pillow covers. Yes. So the pillow covers, here, let me walk out and grab them. You can watch the machine embroidering while I walk out and grab the pillow covers. So they're a 14-inch pillow with a pre-installed invisible zipper. Wow, I wonder what they did with them. Give me 1 second. I have no idea. Oh, there they are. Okay, 1 second. 1, 2, oh, and black. It's a pre-installed 14-inch invisible zipper in the bottom of the pillow. Okay. So this was the original color that we had. Okay, like I said, there's an invisible zipper here, so it folds flat. All the edges are finished so that they are serged kind of thing. And it's an indoor-outdoor fabric. Okay, so it could be used outside. So all the edges are hemmed and top stitched. So they're folded over. And there's our zipper. This way you can embroider on one or both sides of the pillow. Okay. We now have black. We now have a navy, a teal, a rust color, red, and this gray pillow, in addition to our, machine. But those are your pillow blanks. Definitely use StabilStick TearAway with this. That way you're not trying to hoop this into the hoop. I would just let it hang out on top using a basting box, just again because it is, you know, because of how big it is, you don't want it to move on you. And then once you're finished embroidering, put it right sides together, sew around, turn it right side out through the zipper, and you have an embroidered pillow. Okay, so those are available as well. Okay, it says we have 3 minutes, so we'll just chat for 3 more minutes. Well, Miss Becky, it was going to be called that, but we, it was like too much possessiveness in it with Amy's and Wednesday's embroidery. So we were playing around with it. It may change before fall, but we were trying to stick with that acronym and come up with something. I couldn't get Amy Wednesday's embroidery to roll off my tongue as in awesome. I could get t-shirts. Okay, good. I can do that. Yes, we can do free arm embroidery. I will add embroidering on a t-shirt and all that. Watch that last few minutes. So yes, once the towels are embroidered, don't think of having to use the towels and leave the bottom hem the way that it is. I mean, you can dress up that bottom however you want. Like I said, this one has, we put the fabric right sides together, we sewed 1/4 inch, flipped it to this side and top stitched it down. Okay, so here's this one. So we put the strip right sides together this way, sewed 1/4 and then folded it up, and then top stitched it, finished the edge. So they don't have to stay plain towels. You can add ruffles, you can add all of that. And I see the question about hats. Yes, you can embroider hats. It does require an additional piece for your machine in order to embroider a hat. You are a little more limited, so don't think of when you're embroidering hats that you're going to be able to embroider a design that goes from one ear to the other ear, because you're only going to have about a 4-inch square dead center in the hat. I personally do not like embroidering hats in my machine, but I will gladly show you without a problem. I just don't, I don't like that I can't get it wider for like the entire front bill of the hat versus just dead center. Okay, but I will gladly show you. All right, we got a minute left. Oh, the other thing is we talked about, like I said, with towels, bath towels that have nap to them, or even if you were doing a waffle weave towel here, you need to use a top cover, so that that Stitch 2.0 or Heat to Go, and put that down to help keep the stitches from sinking in. If you don't think it makes a difference, okay, you're like, oh, I don't need that, it's not necessary, okay, let me show you that it is. Okay. Look at those ladybugs. Look at the lettering that's there. I didn't think that this bib was really that nappy, okay, and so I didn't use it. Now this bib is about 20 years old. I didn't know any better. I know way more now than I did then. But here is the same design without and with. And you can see a major difference between those two pieces. So Stitch 2.0 or Heat to Go are your items that you want to use on top of the towel or any fabric that has a nap to it. Okay. All right. Our design is finished. Take it off the hoop here. Bring it over. there it is. There's my float that's there. I can tear this off. I usually just tear off the big sections. I'm not overly concerned about getting in between every little nook and cranny. I'm going to unscrew my hoop. Tear away the excess of your StabilStick. Get in here, you can take, your loop and tail wand is good too to get in there if you want to really try to get it out of a majority of the nook and crannies. Like I said, I don't stress over it. I will come back with a pair of scissors, clean up this, these little thread tails, the little thread cuts that are there, and trim those down so that they're not poking out. But there's our towel, minus the little bit of StabilStick that I got stuck to the front of it that I'll use some Goo Gone and get out. But there is our design. Oh, ignore the poison ivy. Sorry. It is not monkeypox. As you know, we have to have something else to be worried about. But there is your design in the corner of your towel. Easily could have also put this in the center. But sometimes, everything doesn't have to be folded that way. Sometimes when, for me, hanging my towel up, let me show you this way. Sometimes hanging my towel by the towel hook, okay? Then it hangs and you can see it, okay? That's there versus if it was centered in here, the way that it hangs, you wouldn't see it. All right. Well, that is what I have for you today on Awesome Wednesday Embroidery with me. I certainly hope that everyone had a great time and enjoyed what I did. I look forward to seeing some of the tea towels that you maybe stitch out or will be stitching out, so be sure to share them with us in social media, either our main Facebook page, Material Girls Quilt Boutique, or inside of our private community group called the MGQB Society. We'd love to see some of your finished product. The bundle has until I'm sold out, okay? So currently we are directing you to OESD's website. My bundles have not arrived here in the store yet, but we will have some bundles here in the store, hopefully soon. But yes, if you purchase online, I would assume they've not given us an expiration date for that event, that bundle. So I would think if you're interested in either one of the bundles, the sooner the better with us. So thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.